Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Island Bwoy Cuisine. Today we're going to be making rice and peas served with our jerk wings.
Alright folks, I'll bring you over here, camera person. So here we have our wings. These are jumbo wings that we marinated overnight, and basically it's about 1.5 pounds of wings that we added our very own Island Bwoy jerk seasoning to. In addition to the seasoning, we added a little salt to help the flavors mature and make it juicy when you put it on the grill. These were marinated for about 12 hours and they're good to go, ready to go in the oven or on the grill. For our purposes today, we used our oven, and what you want to do, make sure is to cook it low and slow.
Okay.
Over here for our rice and peas, and people, like I said, rice and peas, not rice and red beans. You go to a restaurant and you see them posted with kidney beans, run. They're not Jamaicans. They're from somewhere else. Try nothing. I don't blame them, but it's not rice and peas. So here's the recipe. Take it down and you'll be good to go. So we're using 1 can. You go to your store and you get 1 can of coconut milk. Coconut milk, not coconut cream. Now we're going to use a little bit of water to wash it out. You need about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. You want to go a little bit on the left side. We're going to add our kidney beans. These are cooked already. Traditionally, when they do it, you'd have to grate the coconut and you get bloody fingers and all that mess. And the beans would have to be cooked like how we cook our stew peas. Okay?
So with our beans, do we have to use a certain type of beans or can we use any?
You can use any in Jamaica, depending on the time of the year. Around Christmas time, we always use gungo peas. We can also use cowpeas in there. Ginger. Ginger is very important to rice and peas. So, like when we did our stew peas, we have ginger and garlic. We're going to impart those flavors.
And remember, when you put your pepper in for that spice, do not take the top off or cut it up.
All right. Why? Because dog eat themselves after that. Some people learn that the hard way. So we're also adding fresh thyme. Put about a teaspoon of fresh thyme here. And dry thyme is fine, but your dish is going to come out a little bit flat. Like the music in Jamaica, we use fresh spices and herbs because they add rhythm to it. You get that ebb and flow. So here we're adding peppercorn, a member of the peppercorn family, pimento. In Jamaica, we call it pimento, and we cracked it. It's also known as allspice here in the US. And then scallion. You have your fresh scallion. You can just break that and put that in there. And you're going to let that come to a boil. You're also going to add some salt. You want your pot to be seasoned. At this point, you want the salt to be, when you taste that, it needs to be salty. If it's not salty, it's not ready. All of that salt is going to be added to help the rice bloom and give the flavor, spread the flavor. Okay, so what you do is just put that all in, mix it around. It takes probably about 10 minutes to come to a boil and do its thing. But once it's boiling, your kitchen, you should be able to smell that aroma coming from the pimento berries and the pepper and the ginger and the scallion coming together. Then your liquid is going to turn a tinge of red. At that point, that is when you can consider putting in the rice.
Okay. So, with our jerk wings, what is the term jerk come from?
Jerk is a term that is used to actually, the process, during the cooking process, in order to turn the meat, they would stab the meat with big stick because they were cooking slabs of meat. And what they would do is they'd stab the meat and then kind of leverage or pivot it and turn it over. And to get that out, they'd jerk away from it so the meat would get back on the grill.
That sounds kind of hard.
Well, they had life hard in that time. You know, this dish is synonymous with slaves, maroons. Those are people who used to run away from the British and the Spanish soldiers when Spain was in control of the country. And so what they would do is the maroons in the hills would bury, you can put that out for me please, would bury their meat in the ground. They make what they call a barbacoa. The Taínos, between the Taínos and the slaves, they'd make a barbacoa in the ground with pimento, allspice berry, that is synonymous or indigenous to the country. And then they would cover it with leaves and they'd move around, they'd be on the run all the time so nobody could track them. Right? I'm going to add my rice now.
Ooh,
It's
really
boiling up.
bubbly.
Yeah, it's bubbling, 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 bubbling. We wanna, you can smell that. You see your pepper there? We want to dance around the pepper.
Don't want to accidentally stab it.
No, you don't want to stab it. Okay? So you let that bad boy go. Smell that? You smell the thyme, the combination of the thyme and the pimento.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
just buried the pepper.
Right. It'll be alright. Then we add our rice.
Ooh.
This is a cup and a quarter of rice.
So what type of rice are we using?
We're using jasmine rice. You can use any kind of rice that is like a converted rice or Carolina rice. You don't want to use minute rice. You can use parboiled rice. But basically, you want that rice that is going to absorb the liquid. There are other rices out there like the Italian rice Supremo or from Italy that they used to make, what they call it, risotto. You don't want to use that one because those are very hard to cook. They take longer to cook and then you risk a chance of burning it. Now, if you notice, you see the pepper on top. You want to keep the pepper there as much as possible. And that bubbling is going on. So you want to turn. Make a liquid bubble, okay? You go on and you turn it so it's not sticking. And that's why we add the water, because the coconut is so heavy, so viscous, that it will burn. So you notice most of it's gone. So at this point, we turn it right down and we cover it.
Can we use this one?
Sure. And then you let it simmer, and it should take about anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. All right, try and keep that rice on that pepper on top there. So now we're going to plate our deal. So these jerk wings, I did them in the oven, and what I did was I just heated a pan. First, I started out with the oven at 300 degrees. Put them in the oven and let it cook a little bit, and then make sure we give it color. The last 10 minutes, I pumped up my oven to 400 degrees. Whoa, guess what? I just burst my pepper. Well, luckily for us,
It's already cooked.
it's already cooked, so
That's
we're not going to
good.
get that problem.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, right? And then you can smell it. Ooh, yeah, the pepper is up. All right.
The rice and peas is also such a great dish.
Right.
Can you can you put meat in your rice and peas?
You can, but you don't want people who are operating on a budget would definitely use like a corn pork, salted pork or something to add flavor to it. And the rice and peas on its own is a dish to itself. So that's why I was talking bigging up my vegan brethren.
Yeah.
All right, you want to try it?
Yes, please.
All right. Now, jerk, normally you wouldn't serve it with a sauce. Jamaicans, what they would normally do is have like a pepper sauce that on the side to bump up the heat on it when they're having it. All right.
Those beans look so good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very aromatic, very filling. Thank you.
I taste that spice too.
Yeah. We try the wings. Magnifique. Yeah, man, it's good. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned for our next episode. Like, share, and subscribe. Alrighty, bye-bye.